It is the debut of a brand new segment here, just for the week, in which we honor the most beloved New York Almost Champions in a brand new segment we like to call Almost Champions. Now, we handed this over to the committee, and the committee did send me an email on what they are looking for in a almost champion, like how they're ranking these teams 15 through 1. Apparently, they are looking at how great they were. They're looking at the personality and charisma of the team. They're looking at memorable moments. They're looking at team success and legacy. And they're looking at just pure love from the fans. So there's a mix of things they're looking for in ranking our almost champions. Now, remember, an almost champion is a team that got to a Super Bowl, World Series finals, or Cup finals. So, unfortunately, the New York Jets are the only local team not represented. So before we get started, personally, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, the teams I want to give honorable mention to, teams that did not get to a finals but got close, that I want to say, hey, let's show them some love. I want to start with the 2021 New York Islanders. I mean, think about it. Think about it. Closing down Nassau Coliseum, milk bath, 7th game, and we all know they would have won the Cup if they beat Tampa. But they lost on a shorthanded goal in Game 7. So I want to commend the 2021 New York Islanders. I also want to commend the 1998, 2009, and 2010 Jets. 3 times, Tiki. We got the championship games.
Right. But they don't qualify because they didn't get to the championship.
That's right. That's why this is just purely honorable mention.
Right. And I'd like to mention last year's Rangers and 3 years ago's Rangers who didn't do this in a bubble and made the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, the 2021 Islanders did not do it in a bubble either.
Well, technically they did.
I was in Nassau Coliseum for Game 7. Did that not exist?
Evan, I don't want to.
Did that not exist? Was I in a bubble? Did I didn't even say 2020, by the way. I said 2021.
Okay. So for anybody that doesn't know this, the Islanders and all the teams played the same 6 teams all regular season, so they did not travel, and there was a separate Canadian division, leaving a weak Canadians team in the Stanley Cup. So while it wasn't the literal bubble, it was still a bubble season.
Oh, stop.
The Islanders could not figure it out in a non-regular
NHL season. They lost to a dynastic team in the 7th game on the road, bro.
Evan,
a team you couldn't beat. How'd you do the next year? I forgot. Can you remind me?
We made the conference finals.
And who'd you lose to?
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
The same team that the Islanders couldn't beat.
But at least we played our way out of a regular season to get there.
How many games did you lose to them in?
6.
In 6, okay. Islanders lost in 7.
Again, fake season. But okay.
Not a fake season. And I also want to honor the 1999 New York Mets. And I guess this past Met team. They did a pretty good job as well. So those are honorable mentions. They do not qualify. Anybody you want to add?
No, see, the Giants don't lose NFC Championship games, so not them. You know what? Let's throw the 2022 Giants in there anyway. We lost to a dynastic Eagle team in the second round.
Stop it. Stop. Hey, Tommy, since you only lost to attrition, do you want to include last year's Knicks team?
I have a sneaky suspicion there'll be several Knicks teams on this list, so I don't need to have one on the honorable mention.
All right, fair enough. Let's start with number 15 in the debut of Almost Champions.
Number 15, the 2024 New York Yankees.
And the 1-2. Swung on, a high fly to center. Back goes Thomas on the track. He's at the wall, and she's gone! A 3-run home run. The Yankee bench comes on the field. Wow, what a Soto photo.
Yeah. It's tough with the 2024 New York Yankees because it just happened. It's too soon. I don't even know how to feel about it, but I do kind of think that history isn't going to treat it well because of the way they lost to the LA Dodgers and the fact that highlight we just played is of a guy that left after the series was over.
Yeah, too soon.
The question will be what's next, right?
Yeah, true, but the emotion is just kind of like,
and
flat.
And the fundamental stuff.
Yeah.
But look, if the Yankees get it together and they appear in a couple more World Series, dare I say, win one in the next couple of years, I think we will look at that as the start of something.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's towards the bottom. I think the committee got that run right. All right, let's hear number 4. Right. Let's hear number 14.
Number 14, the 1981 New York Yankees.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, blooped into short center. Going back as Randolph says he'll get it. He does. He makes the catch. Randolph with a great running catch to Rob Gross. And the Yankees in the midst of a celebration. Has no runs on a hit, no errors, and a runner left on. The Yankees win it in 3.
You know what's funny? Even the call is underwhelming.
Right, who is that?
That is, I don't know who the broadcaster is, but that was Game 3. They swept the Oakland A's in 1981 to go to the World Series. Remember, they had won in 77 and 78. They had been there in 76, 79 and 80, then not. And then back in 1981, they lost the hard-fought series to the Dodgers. But it was the strike season, and I wasn't around for it. But Sean just made this whole diatribe point about, being in the bubble.
Yeah.
I can see why this doesn't do well.
And it's a last hurrah. Kind of reminds me of like a Curry Warriors team in these NBA playoffs. You know what I mean? That you can, all right, we've been there, done that. And then the Yankees enter an abyss after this.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think so far these two Yankee teams do belong in the caboose because I don't think even the diest heart of Yankee fans thinks that highly of either one of them.
Close comparison with the Warriors, but they actually won a championship 2 years ago.
I was more talking about like these kind of Warriors this year. If they made a run to the final.
I see. I got you.
I could see that. Does the strike impact it at all or not really? It was before our time. That's the tough part.
Exactly.
I don't think I can't conceptualize a strike. Like, I don't know what it means from fandom.
Well, guess what? About a year and a half, you'll see. It'll be a lockout, but you'll see.
Lockouts are different.
That is true.
Lockout is different.
That's true.
Strike feels like, dude, what the hell?
And what made the baseball one so bad is that they split the season in two, and the team that had the most wins in the National League did not make the playoffs. Think about that for a second. That's how flawed the system was. Anyhow, let's get to number 13.
Number 13, the 1984 New York Islanders.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's all over. And the Islanders win 4 in a row to take the Canadiens in 6 games. Congratulations to the Islanders, a truly great hockey team.
That's BS. No. That's the Islanders getting to a 5th consecutive Stanley Cup.
But they
their
were losers.
19th consecutive series win until they lost to Edmonton in the Cup. That should be in the top 5. How does that get disrespected? That's anti-hockey. And that's anti-Islanders, Sean. And you should use your bully pulpit right now to bitch that the 84 Islanders just got disrespected on WFAN.
Now I'm confused what we're listening to.
Yes.
We're listening to the most disrespected or the most forgotten?
No, it's the most beloved.
Oh, beloved.
And you're telling me that's not a beloved team? They got to their 5th straight cup.
Yeah, but after 5th, it's kind of like, all right. We've been here already.
Really?
Yeah, nobody's walking around with those Eastern Conference games, the Wales Conference champion shirts.
You're just kind of like, all right,
but
whatever. We lost one. We'll get it next year.
It's the final moment, really, of this dynastic run, a run that we'll never see matched in this town.
In that regard, you're right, but I think people would choose to care about the previous 4.
Interesting. We hear 12, 11, and 10. The committee says love from the fans, legacy, how good they were. They factor all of that in when ranking these almost champions. Tiki's very nervous because, remember, he's going to be on this list at some point. Will that team finish in the top 5, top 10? Well, we're going to hear him right now. I don't know, and I can see you nervous. I understand. I'm nervous, too.
I'm not nervous.
I got a lot of almost champions.
My 2000 Giants team gets a lot of love.
It does get a lot of love. But will it get the ultimate love? Ladies and gentlemen, almost champions, number 12.
Number 12, the 2001 New Jersey Devils.
Penguins will be 9-9 in the playoff year. Countdown underway at the Meadowlands. The New Jersey Devils have won the Eastern Conference 4-2 over the Pittsburgh Penguins.
And I'll never forget Game 7 of the Cup Finals when they were almost champions, losing to Joe Sakic and the Colorado Avalanche. And I was watching that game down in D.C. with a diehard Avalanche fan, and I was rooting big for the Devils. I was like, you know what? Screw Joe Sakic.
Let's go Devils.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to a Devils game this weekend.
Are you?
Yeah.
Maybe you can save their season.
Maybe.
Because they're sinking.
Was that the Ray Bork Colorado Avalanche? Was he on their hockey historian, Sean?
I got to look up which.
Yeah, you don't know.
Did you even watch that Cup final?
Yes, I do. I actually left the Little East Neck Feast to watch Game 7. I think it was the Devils, 2001.
Yeah, they lost in 7 to the Colorado Avalanche.
Sakic,
What were you
Forsberg.
sacrificing by leaving the Little East Neck Feast? Was there like fried chicken? Was there
Tiki, we
meatloaf?
Zeppelis.
I could tell you this, that age and my husky build, I was not leaving a makeout session behind a dumpster.
Fair enough.
That certainly wasn't happening. And here we go.
Congratulations to the 2001 New Jersey Devils. I mean, they were almost champions, getting to a Game 7 of the Cup Finals. Let's hear number 11. Number 11, the 2001 New Jersey Devils. Penguins will be 9-9 in the playoff year. Countdown underway at the Meadowlands. The New Jersey Devils have won the Eastern Conference 4-2 over the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Number 11. Number 11, the 2003 New Jersey Nets.
To the New Jersey Nets, to Lewis Katz, to the entire Nets organization, you're now the two-time Eastern Conference champions. And it's on to the NBA Finals.
Oh, God.
That gives Evan, remind me, is this the one that I went to?
This is the one where they actually did win a finals game. They lost to San Antonio in 6, so yes, you were there.
I was at one of these games, and they played Jewel at halftime.
There you go.
And we found out Evan was at one of these games, and it might have actually been the same one.
No, I was living in D.C. at the time, so I came up, and I was lucky enough or unlucky enough to be at Game 5.
No, that's not the one I was
of the NBA Finals. The Nets wore their ABA jerseys that night. Steve Kerr hit some big threes in the fourth quarter. And that's when I knew we're not winning an NBA championship. But it was 2-2. It was back in the old 2-3-2 format. So Game 5 was at the Meadowlands, and it was my first ever playoff game at home in New Jersey to see the Nets play. My first Nets playoff game was actually in Charlotte a year earlier. I drove down to Charlotte while I was living in D.C., and it turned out to be, ready for this, the final Hornets game at home of that iteration of the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh.
They moved to New Orleans right after it.
Yeah.
I
think that was a Game 3.
I think so. Spurs won Game 3. Spurs won Game 1. Nets won Game 2. Spurs won Game 3. Nets won Game 4. Spurs won Game 5, and then the Nets collapsed.
Was Game 5 the Kmart flu game?
No, Game 6.
Was Game 6?
He was terrible in Game 6.
Game 5, I'm pretty sure, was Father's Day. They also lost 2 games the entire postseason before the NBA Finals.
No. And they were both in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
They swept Boston in the semis and then swept Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals. The 03 Nets, wow, that means they're behind the 02 Nets, which is very interesting. Anyhow, here's number 10.
Number 10, the 2002 New Jersey Nets.
The New Jersey Nets will continue one of the most remarkable one-season turnarounds in NBA history. From 26 wins last year to a trip to the NBA Finals. An amazing story. The New Jersey Nets are in the NBA Finals. Byron Scott and the Nets eliminate the Boston Celtics in 6 games. It's been a wonderful season for the Celtics, a great turnaround, but they fall short to what was the better team in this series.
You're damn right it was the better team. I'm very mixed about this because when they won in 2002, and it was one of the most remarkable turnarounds in New York sports or any sports history, I was actually on the radio as they beat the Celtics that night. I'll never forget it.
Right.
And it was tough. So because I was on the radio and I was trying to do a show, my emotion was pure electric excitement. And the producer at the time of the show,
you're a huge Net fan?
diehard Nets. I've always been a diehard Nets fan.
I know that, but how? I don't understand.
What do you mean how? Why do people ask that?
Because it's in Jersey.
So the Giants are in Jersey too.
But that's like 16 games a season. You weren't going to the games, were you?
Yeah, well, not a lot, but we went to a few. My dad would take me to 1 or 2 a
That's
year.
a hike, bro.
I watched every game on FS1 back in the day. Now, I was a diehard New Jersey Nets fan, but I was on the radio at the time. And my producer, it was a fill-in producer, saw my excitement, saw I was distracted, and said it into the earpiece. He said, Evan, I'm going to get a guy I know. He's a big sports fan, and I think he likes the Nets to celebrate this moment with you. I said, okay. That guy who called up to celebrate the moment with me, I had never met him. I wasn't friends with him, but I was told he likes the Nets. And so I shared that emotional moment on XM satellite radio with a fellow named Don LaGreca.
Get out.
And it was I don't know if Don remembers that at all, by the way, but I do. Because it was so freaking awesome. Like, I'm going to the NBA Finals. I think I was screaming at him, we're going to the NBA Finals. Now, I later found out Don really didn't give a crap, but he was very nice.
He's not really a Net fan?
He's more of a hockey guy.
But he didn't like the Nets at all.
I think he
just
did.
kind of just was placating.
No, I think he was placating a little bit, but I appreciated that because it was cool to have that moment with somebody, even if that somebody like didn't care as much about the Nets. He was a New York guy, he's a New York sports guy, and I'll never forget that. So that was very special. And there's no way, by the way, that Don remembers that. I do.
Almost knocked out in the first round, too.
Oh,
Game
Indiana.
5, double overtime. What? Reggie off the backboard?
Oh, God, that killed me. The Reggie Miller game-tying half-court shot, I was on the radio for as well, and I almost died on the air. That was the original Tommy. I'm going to die. I'm dead. I'm dead. But in 03, real quick, and then we'll get off this, I promise. When they won the
Net. This is your chance to talk Nets.
Well, this is
Hapless Nets.
This is it, because these are their two representatives and almost champions. When they won the East in 03, they swept the Pistons.
I
It
was
was not
just
close.
talking about almost champion. I was
just in general?
The Nets still in the league?
No, you're right. It's a fair point. When they won the East, I was at my ex-girlfriend's house. I was in her basement by myself because I said, listen, I need to watch this by myself. And when they beat the Pistons, and it was inevitable because they beat the crap out of them after that close game one. When they got to the finals for a second straight year, my reaction was so different than a year earlier. I bawled like a baby.
Why?
Because I couldn't believe that they did it again. And I genuinely thought, and Sean knows this.
How old were you?
I was 20 years old. I'm a baby.
Okay.
I genuinely thought we're winning the whole God freaking thing. Sorry, I was about to GD it.
Me too.
We are going to win. So I cried out of, I can't believe we're back. And this time, we are going to win the NBA championship. And they came close. They did not. I think the committee absolutely screwed the Nets. I think it was disrespectful that they were only 11-10, and I feel like the three almost champions today was let's throw Jersey a bone and stick them in the corner.
In football, I mean, the Giants got to be in there somewhere. So
they will be.
That's also Jersey.
That's it's a different. It is, but it's different, as you know. We are down to number 9, 8, and 7 in almost champions. We're counting down the most beloved New York's almost champions. We have a committee here at WFAN. We assigned them this project because we wanted to honor these teams that got to a finals, World Series, Stanley Cup, or Super Bowl, but didn't win because we should not forget our almost champions. So we are up to number 9. We will continue it throughout the week, and finally on Friday at 4 o'clock, we will find out number 3, 2, and 1. But right now, we find out number 9.
Number 9, the 2003 New York Yankees.
Here's Aaron Boone to lead off. His first at-bat of the game. There's a fly ball deep to left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going to the World Series. Aaron Boone has hit a home run. The Yankees go to the World Series for the 39th time in their remarkable history. Aaron Boone down the left field line. They are waiting for him at home plate, and now he dives into the scrum. The Yankees win it 6-5. Ball game over. American League Championship Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Wow. This is such a tricky one because...
Why? Because it's hard to forget any of these Yankees because they win so many times?
No, it's because they got beat by the Marlins a week later. Like, it is a classic series. Beating the Red Sox the way they did, coming back in Game 7 the way they did, Booney hitting the home run. It's one of the most classic ALCSs or best of sevens you could ever have. But I feel like it's ruined to many Yankee fans for 2 reasons. Losing the World Series and what happened the following year.
Bingo. Double whammy. Because the immediate 12 months later, you collapsed 3-0 to the Red Sox in the ALCS, which means you couldn't hold Aaron Boone over their heads. They got you in a much worse fashion the next year. I actually feel bad the most for Aaron Boone out of this moment because it is such an iconic moment in a man's baseball career. And not that Yankee fans don't remember it and cheer, but it could have been that much more iconic in Yankee history, but they lose a World Series and lose to Boston next year.
Yeah, I think it hurts it. I don't think it hurts it. I think it would be better than number 9, but it's sitting there at number 9, the committee's decision. Let's hear number 8.
Number 8, the 2014 New York Rangers.
How about that?
This is a bad job.
PK Subban.
PK Subban, yeah. What's wrong? You think they got disrespected or something?
Should be higher?
I'm curious because we have not heard from the 2014, I always get these years wrong, 14-15 Mets. Which year was that again?
The 2014 New York Rangers got to the Stanley Cup final and lost to the Kings. The 14 Rangers. Who are you asking about?
I'm asking about the Mets.
2015.
15. I get those 2 years confused because they were those two series.
Clearly, the 15 Mets haven't been announced yet. They're going to be ahead.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm going to say, which is interesting to me. Because those two teams are so similar in that you don't get there often. This is the Rangers' only trip to the Cup since '94. The only time Henrik Lundqvist got that team was beloved. Had that big comeback, the Mother's Day goal from Martin St. Louis. To be only 8 on this list?
You know what may hurt it? What may hurt it is it's not like the 15 Mets.
Because it's hockey.
No, nothing to do with hockey. The 15 Mets were kind of on its own. Like in 14, they weren't any good. In 13, they weren't any good. 16, they did make the playoffs. That Ranger team made the postseason in 7 consecutive seasons.
Which makes it more special.
11 out of 12 years. They also lost numerous conference finals, including the following year where they lost a Game 7 at home to Tampa Bay.
But they got there this year.
But that's to the point. I think it makes it more special, more beloved when you constantly knock on the door,
and then you get through.
And then you finally get through.
No, that's fair. I'm correcting the comparison of the Mets. I think it's different.
Well, it's more that they play.
If you're saying that's more,
no, you're right.
Yeah, if you're saying that's more impressive, that's fine. The committee clearly disagrees.
That's why the Giants are still higher.
Yeah.
My comparison to that Met team is simply I thought the actual series they played in which they lost in were so eerily
But they were
similar.
just so good all the time.
Right.
They were the Steelers.
Yeah.
Always there, but never quite in there.
No, that's it. I can only fight for the Rangers so hard.
14 Rangers, number 8. Who's number 7?
Number 7.
That's carefully played away by Lundqvist. Now Ponikarovsky with it. Threw one in front, blocked there. Scramble for it there. They poke away at it. Still it's loose. Poked out by Kovalchuk. They score! It's Reese! It's over!
That's the 2012 New Jersey Devils who defeated the Rangers in the Eastern Conference Finals. You just heard it on an Adam Henrique overtime goal. I got to tell you, and I'm not a Ranger fan or a Devil fan, I completely agree with the 12 Devils being ahead of the 14 Rangers. No question in my mind.
This committee is unbelievable.
Why?
Clearly Jersey-based.
Clearly Jersey-based.
Why is that?
Look, we already had another Devil moment. Devils get to 100 cups. They always take battles over it. The one time the Rangers get there in 20 years, they're behind this Devil team.
No, they should be. You know why? Devils beat them.
Okay, the Devils
beat them, bro.
Great. So we're punishing the Rangers for not having the Devils?
It's just a local feel. It's like you beat a local team.
Yeah, Sean, I'm going to put it in language you'll understand. This will work.
English?
Yeah, this will really work. So let's say the Knicks get to the NBA Finals, right? They get to the NBA Finals, they lose a hard-fought series to the Thunder. Pretty cool. Like, we're going to honor them. And let's say 2 years from now, the Brooklyn Nets not only get to the NBA Finals, and by the way, lose to the same team the Knicks lost to, but they beat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals on a game-winning overtime shot by somebody they used with one of the Knick picks.
Okay.
Wouldn't you put the net run above the Knick run because you beat a rival?
You can't even make that up with a straight face.
I know.
I love this argument, so I will say that. All I will say is put a pin in it because unlike other moments, we know the teams to come. We don't know what order they're coming in.
Right, we do know the teams that are still available.
There's a certain team that hasn't been announced yet that isn't a champion because of the reversal of what you're saying. That is curious why that would be ahead of these teams.
Interesting.
Can we just rewind back here? That's something Sean said about the Devils. They went to a few Stanley Cups and they take back. No. They won 3 Stanley Cups. Right. And I would argue that Brodeur Triangle Devil team is the most overlooked, underappreciated time period of any sports team in this town. They get no credit. They were a dynasty.
Right.
They get no credit, and you just poo-poo it. And you do this with the Islanders, and you do this with the Devils. Bro, your hockey team is the third-ranked team as far as success. You have the most fans, but you don't have a lot of success, and you act like you do. And you don't have success. I'm talking about winning cups, not getting and being bridesmaids. Now, take your shot at the Knicks, that's fine. But you constantly take these shots at these other hockey teams when they have had more success than your team. They have.
I just credited the Devils.
No, you didn't. You took a very passive-aggressive shot at them.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
and
did.
how's Jack Hughes doing?
No, I don't do that.
Is that really where you went there? That's the low blow? Come on.
I'm curious. Anybody have an update on him?
Nah, don't do that. That's
such a low blow. It's not even
Don't get me going if you don't want low blows.
No. But talk about, just acknowledge that the Rangers don't have the same success as far as Stanley Cups that the Islanders and the Devils have. Just acknowledge.
And that 12 team, as I'm looking, that was the last of the.
Yeah.
Like, they were constantly in the postseason.
That series,
and then it ended after that.
That was the game is famous for How I Met Tom and Lindsay, Tiki, by the way.
Is it right? Really?
Yeah, on a cruise ship, we watched that.
All right, that's very nice. That's the
end. That's what I'm
end.
going to the game with on Saturday.
To your point, Tiki, that is the end of that Devil run, the very end of it in 2012. But honestly, I think your shots at the Devils are like almost, they've won so much, who cares, actually, because they did, as Tommy pointed out, win 3 Stanley Cups.
And they beat the Rangers a lot.
They did. So I think that it was actually an attempted shot, but you're actually giving them credit for being a really successful franchise. But the one thing you got to keep in mind, this is where I do agree with the committee. The reason the 12 Devils, to me, absolutely should be ahead of the 14 Rangers are the teams they beat. because when you beat a rival like that, it does make it extra special.
Right.
All right.
It absolutely does. That.
Makes it memorable.
Quick timeout, because maybe I'm getting this list wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing most beloved, almost champions here.
It's most beloved, and the committee made clear it's beloved, it's success. They use a lot of factors to put this out there,
Look,
but I'm going to assume that beating your rival certainly plays a role in it.
I'm simply pointing out inconsistencies.
What inconsistency?
The first couple we announced out of the 15 were the 81 Yankees and last year's Yankees, right?
Too long ago. That's why they're
okay. But last year's Yankees,
I'll give you the rankings for those just tuning in. The 24 Yankees, the 81 Yankees, the 85 Islanders, which I disagreed with, the 01 Devils, the 03 Nets, the 02 Nets, and then today the 03 Yankees, 14 Rangers, 12 Devils. What's the issue?
So just hear me out. Okay, the Islanders were one of those. And what did we say about the Islanders, why they're so far back out? They were coming off all those champions, right?
Yeah.
What did we say about those Yankee teams? Oh, look, there's so many of them. That's why you kind of forget. My argument for the Rangers is when you look at all these champions, almost champions we're arguing, they're the one in this group that basically it's the only time they got through for most people in their lives.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
That's what makes them more beloved
Especially
to an
when
entire
you think
fan base.
about the 01 Devils who won the previous year, and they won 2 years later.
And as much as I like poking fun of the Devils, that's where Tommy is right. I can't take a shot. They're there so much, and we have two Devil teams. This is the only time the Rangers got through. That's why they're more beloved.
Oh, that's why you said it's Jersey-based.
Yeah.
But I'm sure to the Devil fan, knocking out the Rangers meant a lot more than knocking off whoever.
Yeah. Who'd they beat in the 01 Eastern Conference Finals? I think it was Pittsburgh, if memory serves correct.
The Devils?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Exactly. Who'd you beat in the 2014 Eastern Conference
The
Finals?
Washington Capitals and Alex Ovechkin.
Again with the Capitals? How many times you got to play a stupid team?
I thought it was Montreal. Was it Washington?
You're right. Oh, yeah, you're right. That was the Carey Price series.
What kind of hockey fan are you?
Wow. You pressed
Penguins second round. When did we beat the Capitals?
01, they beat the
Tiki knows Mr. Hockey here.
Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs. They're in Toronto.
So there you go. I know more hockey than you, Sean. Let's get back to your calls. 88.